started to sing, I mean, professionally, the thing that launched me was the Luciano Pavarotti's competition. And that again came from, I mentioned before, my friend Donald, who studied with John Wussman. John Wussman was Luciano's accompanist and played for his piano voice recitals. Well, Luciano had started this competition, I think I was in the second one. And that was the finals were in 1985. But I went back to the University of Illinois to do my senior recital. I'd already moved with my husband to Memphis, but I had to go back and do a recital to get my degree. And John Wussman heard the recital, and I had just started making the switch from lyric mezzo to soprano. At the advice of Risa Stevens, by the way, because I won the Met competition in '84 as a lyric mezzo, the Mid-South region. I went to New York. I did not win in New York. And Risa Stevens told me, we think you're a soprano, go home, study. Okay. So then I did my senior recital, and between the time when Risa Stevens told me that, it was 6 months before I sang Luciano's competition. And John Wussman said to me after my recital, you have to go do Luciano's competition. And I said, but Mr. Wussman, I don't know 5 soprano arias. He said, just write something down. I want you to sing for him. So I just wrote, of course I put Visidarte on there. And at the first round, Luciano did not judge, but this incredible coach from La Scala, Antonio Tonini, who was Luciano's coach, judged, along with Jane Nemeth, who ran the competition out of Philadelphia. And I'll never forget, I went out and I started singing Visidarte, but probably the first time in front of these people. And Tonini, he started walking toward the stage while I was singing, and I'm thinking, is this normal? And he came up and he began to work with me. And so I left and I was advanced to the next round. Well, again, destiny. The next round was to have been in Chicago. And it so happened that it coincided with my cousin Nancy, her wedding. Nancy and I grew up together, and I adore her. We're like best friends. And I was supposed to sing at her wedding, so well, this is great. I'll sing at the wedding and do the competition. Well, then Luciano's daughter, Julia, became ill, and she was getting treatment in New York, so he switched the competition to New York. So I was going to my cousin's to sing at the wedding. Well, there was a wonderful man at that point named Gene Rohn, who sang in the church choir that my ex-husband was directing at Christ Methodist Church. And Gene had become a good friend of ours. And Gene came over to the house. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money at all. And Gene handed me a plane ticket. And he said, you will go to New York after you go to Chicago, and you will do this competition. And I was about to call them and say I couldn't do it. And so I did go, and I did do it, and I was again advanced. And it's a long story, but a lot happened. I ended up having to go to Italy at the last minute. I'd never been to Europe. And with Jane's help and a travel agent, they expedited a passport. I didn't have a passport. And I went for one night, sang for Luciano, left the next day, came back to the United States, because I had to be in St. Louis. I must mention that the Opera Theater St. Louis was very important in my young singing life. I made the chorus there when I was still in college, and then they gave me increasingly, better roles. I canceled my wedding, actually, to do Flora and La Traviata with the Opera Theater St. Louis. But to me, that was important. I mean, a wedding is, of course, important, but to do a role is more important. And they gave me my first 2 leading roles there, Mimi in La Boheme and also Micaela in Carmen. But I'll get back to Luciano, became a mentor to me. He truly believed in my talent, and was very supportive in every way. He was really an incredible human being and an incredible artist. I feel very so fortunate that I was able to stand next to him on the stage and learn from him, and to work with him in life, to coach with him. I learned so much. I still have a lot of his marks and my scores. He was an artist. And I've been fortunate that way with many great singers. It was like a Cinderella story, really, because then I went on to make my Met debut with Placido Domingo in La Boheme. And again, I sang with him more than that time. Over the years, I've sung many times with him, and again, learned so much from him. Dear man, very dear man. So incredibly gifted also.